As a principal, I was in charge of safety and security, and I did not take that job lightly. That job was a heavy, heavy load on my shoulders because you just never know what's going to happen throughout the day. And what would go through my mind is, does everyone know how to respond? Did we do it enough times? Was I as specific as I needed to be as we went through the drills? And then there were moments, um, because I did take it seriously. We didn't mess around. There were consequences. If they had to be given, they were given. No doubt about it. No questioning it. But there were times when things would come up. Students would make poor decisions, and I had to give the consequence. But after that was over, I just felt like, ooh, I didn't want to have to do that, but I did it anyways because we take safety and security seriously. And the student that I'm thinking of, he, he had autism, and the things that he said, uh, they were pretty bad, but largely the student population knew that the student didn't mean any harm. They knew him very well. But at the end of the day, the with the climate that we're living in terms of school safety, had to give those consequences, and it didn't feel good. It didn't feel good at all, but had to do it. And so this story here kind of reminds me of those situations in which I had to give consequences, and it didn't feel 100% good, but I knew it was the right thing to do in those instances. So let's check this story out. Maryland teenager arrested, charged with threatening mass violence.
Tonight, 18-year-old Alex Yee is in custody after Maryland police say he threatened to shoot up his high school, all detailed in a 129-page memoir that discussed killing students. Yee shared the document with a friend, but said it was a work of fiction. According to charging documents, that friend called the Baltimore County Police because they believed a school shooting was imminent.
And what happened here? Obviously, this school did a really good job of getting the word out to the students. Hey, if you see something that's concerning, please let us know. Every students at the end of the day, they want to be safe, and this happened quite a lot during my career, where students would come across something, and they would share it, and we do the investigation, and that's exactly how the system is supposed to work. That's how the community can come together to make sure that everybody is safe. Just by simply, if you see something that doesn't feel right, doesn't sound right, say something.
I'm worried because now I don't know what to think. I don't know who in this school is going through something that I might not see.
Yee had been attending the high school virtually since 2022 and recently spent time in a psychiatric facility due to suicidal and homicidal thoughts, according to police. In the memoir, he detailed how he'd do it and who his ideal victims would be. The document opens by saying it is a work of fiction, but Yee's friend told police the book's main character mirrored Yee in many ways. They were both Asian and felt bullied by other students. Authorities detailed other red flags that led to the misdemeanor charge.
And there you see there with whenever the word bullying comes up, like that's obviously you're looking at the school's response and what the school could have done prior to the student writing out this fictional story and sharing it with a friend. So and that happens a lot in these kinds of situations. Those questions are going to be asked. What did the school do? What did they know, and when did they know it?
Including medical officials previously reporting that Yee was preoccupied with self-harming, school shootings, and explosives. Authorities say Yee's Instagram chat logs also reference wanting to be a famous serial killer. While Yee's only firearm was a BB gun, police said his internet searches included gun ranges near me and searches about school shootings, including Sandy Hook and Parkland.
And another thing, that's another thing with this is just really, really hit me is just that it just amazes me. And again, I've never raised a teenager. I've never raised a teenager, but I feel confident enough to say that my teenagers, they wouldn't have this kind of freedom to do these kinds of things on their electronic device, to search for these things without me knowing about it. I feel confident in saying that, and I know that that comes off as me blaming the parents, but I have questions. Okay, if the student has all of these things going on, I'm gonna assume that the parents did some things. They had some guardrails in place, but I'm curious to know how this student was able to get around all of that, to get into all of this stuff to the point where it's just building up, and he's making one search after another, and this stuff is in his head, and so now it's to the point where he's creating the story. That's kind of a bad decision, but no one's gonna get hurt. It's a fictional story, but now the ultimate bad decision, now we're sending it to a friend. That's the ultimate bad decision. So there were a number of questionable decisions leading up to this fictional story getting out to a friend and causing this kind of drama within this school community.
Yee's father told police he was not concerned about his son's mental health status and had been aware that he was writing what he called a novel.
So there you have the answer to that question. I guess he was wrong. Guess dad was wrong.
He is currently being held in custody where he awaits a bond hearing.
So, um, that's again, that's one of those situations. It's sad that he's going through all of that. There seems to be some issues at school, and I'm not exactly sure how the school responded, if it was even reported at all. Uh, but just with all of that baggage, with all of that the student is going through, you have to err on the side of caution and keep everyone safe. But man, oh man, I don't, that at the end of the day, that doesn't 100% feel good. Just given this student's past, and just what they're going through. But again, there's nothing more important than the safety and security of everyone inside the school. And so I think ultimately at the end of the day, the student gave authorities just enough information, enough poor decisions to help them draw this conclusion that what, there needs to be some consequences here, and hopefully while he's getting the consequences, get him some help as well. So all right, so that's our story for the day. We'll keep a close eye on that one and give you an update as it comes. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.